Hey there, boys and ghouls. Welcome to the second annual Halloweekly Horror Awards. Music play. All right, so welcome, boys and ghouls. Welcome to the second annual Halloweekly Horror Awards, which we called it the first annual last year, which was a big risk.
Yes.
Because God knows what
most podcasts don't make it more than 6 weeks.
Yeah, or like 7 episodes or something like that. It was, the statistics were very low.
Yes.
So,
and we started with 4 hosts and only 2 of them died. So we're
if you don't remember, listen to the first episode. We had 4 hosts.
Yeah.
And they're no longer with us.
So we're like 50%.
So 50% of us made it.
Yeah.
So
hopefully we'll make it another year.
I still think we beat the odds.
Because if 2 more of us go, there'll be no hosts at all.
But what I'll do is just auto upload like dead air.
Perfect.
And
we'll just do what Jigsaw does. Because, I mean,
it could be white
Tobin
noise.
Bell just pre-recorded like 85.
We should probably record like 1,000 episodes to release
we'll be fine.
once a week, and that'll last us for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be just white noise and drive ghost fanatics crazy. Because they'll be like, I think I heard something.
I love it either way.
I heard Nick talking about pizza. All right, so here we are. We're at the second annual Halloweekly Horror Awards. For all the winners last year, no one came to claim their coupons.
Disappointing.
They're all expired, so good on you. This year,
what do we got on offer this year?
So this year, the offering is I got a new.
What are we going to be giving Jordan Peele personally?
I got a new KitchenAid mixer. Okay, I've been doing a lot of cooking and a lot of baking.
Yes.
And being from Ohio, a treat that we like over there, they're called Buckeyes.
Delicious.
Basically, a Reese cup.
Okay.
But handmade and very scrumptious and goes great with coffee. So I'll be hand making treats, which sounds very strange. I sound like it's making me. I feel like I'm coming up as like either a really big creep or the witch from like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, I feel like that's vaguely threatening, but
I
good
promise
for us. At least we have.
I will eat one in front of them that they can pick.
Perfect.
To prove it's not poison.
Perfect.
Unless for some reason that's a bad batch and I actually do get poisoned, and that would be then we'd be down to 1 host, and then the statistics. I still think we should beat the podcast statistics. So.
What did you think of 2017? Like in the what is this fucking decade called? Like the 2010s or something?
Yeah, 2010s, the 10s.
So So of the 10s, where do you put 17? Better or worse than 16?
Worse. I think 17, 16 were pretty good.
Okay.
I think this year was probably a little bit better than last year.
Okay.
Because last year was really fucking solid with Conjuring 2, The Witch. Fuck else came out last year that was good. Oh,
Tons of stuff. Yeah.
Not Get Out. The film with the blind guy. Don't Breathe.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. I feel like this year was a little bit better, which is good.
I feel like this year was a little bit worse I think it was better in terms of the more visible movies. Mm-hmm. Like the It and Get Out and Happy Death Day and all those things. I feel like it was worse in the second tier. Like I feel like there were a bunch of movies that were under the radar, like Last Shift and Autopsy of Jane Doe, that were really strong. And this year's second tier movies would be like Belko Experiment. Some of the ones that were kind of not as well known, The Void, right?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that they were as exciting as last one. So it's a tie to me. Mm-hmm. Because top tier beat last year's top tier, but second tier, I don't know. So it's interesting though. At least it didn't fall like way back, which is good.
No, it wasn't.
We didn't have like the 1995.
Yeah, it wasn't any of those. But I do think this year led the charge more in us hopefully getting better horror films next year, because they were like, hey, 2016 was good, we should put more money into this. Then they put more money into it. And we're like, whoa.
Right.
Look at the return on, look at the ROI on that.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that these 2 years combined will hopefully lead to a kick-ass 2018, yes. Especially with stuff like Halloween coming out and, Blumhouse really rocking it.
Yep.
I feel like if this trend, I feel like it was a little bit better, and if the trend is it's a little bit better, mm-hmm. I'll take that.
Yes.
Anything that's not, this year was complete dog shit.
Yes.
And I still think this year was better, and we even had Leatherface, Jigsaw,
we had a bunch of
Rings.
Yep. Terrible.
And I still think this year was a little bit better.
So guess what comes up when you Google best horror movie of 2015?
Conjuring.
It's not even here. I don't know what
year. That
Crimson Peak. And then right behind it, We Are Still Here. And then right behind that, hashtag horror. So if those are the first three results, then that means 2015. 2017 killed 2015, put its foot on its neck and stomped it.
The last 2 years went back to back, and we're like, "Fuck this!
Yes, that's right, exactly.
Don't let this. We ain't letting this happen again."
Although 2015 did have Krampus, so that's
Yeah, but that we didn't get that until like what, November or October, whenever that
right.
came
That
out.
was pretty late.
So it took it a while.
But yeah, so I mean, at least we didn't go any distance back. I feel pretty good about where everything's headed. I think, when I was going through our How Low Can We Go list of the 20 movies we've done so far, I think only 4 or 5 of them were sequels and only 3 of them were remakes. So more than half of what we did were originals.
Yeah.
And I feel like we got a really good bunch of original new ones to tackle this year.
Yeah.
In addition to the crappy remakes and all that crap.
Yeah, we're it's not as much as like, the 4th and 5th, franchise horror film coming out like it was a few years back.
Right.
Which was actual dog shit.
Totally.
And not a fun time.
But the top money making movies of 2017 are It and Get Out, which is one remake, one original. So it's pretty much the same split, which is cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some awards going.
So, award number 1. That is going to be the worst jump scare. Do you
Yes.
wanna take that away? Do you want to? What's your worst jump scare?
All right, so there were a lot of possibilities here. I want to give a group award to Annabelle Creation because I felt like most of the jump scares in Annabelle Creation were decent, but since there were like 45 of them,
Yes.
I feel like just the overuse of jump scares in an otherwise good movie
Yes.
means that, that's like a group achievement. I want to get them on the bleachers and just hand them all.
So Annabelle Creation
Individual.
is your
No,
overall.
it's not.
Okay.
Because I think it's cheating to just name one. So instead of that's a group one, that's not fair. Some of the worst jump scare to me was the face hugger jump scare in Alien Covenant.
Aha.
Come on, are you kidding me? Another idiot, another scientist idiot, on another in another situation where they've got the plant egg, whatever, where the alien
Everyone
grows.
knows that thing fucking
And
blooms open.
it's blooming and it's twitching and he's like kicking it with his toe and like get out of here with
Nope.
that. That is like that, right? And not only are we seeing that, but it's actively aggravating, right? Before the jump
the
scare
audience
happened,
by now knows.
right? And
Yeah.
it's just a perversion of one of the greatest jump scares of all time. Like it's totally disrespectful to the chest burster. And every time there was a face hugger jump scare, it was amazing. And now we've got this crap.
It's expected.
Yeah.
In every Alien film. Yeah, that kind of tarnishes a good moment from a earlier film.
Yes.
So my worst jump scare, and I'm gonna kind of, I don't want to say crap on it, but my disappointment with the film I'm going to mention quite a bit.
Yes.
But I'm also going to defend it at the end because I'm always glass
Oh,
half
a
full.
plot twist. I like that.
That's my plot twist. So my worst jump scare will be all of Cult of Chucky.
Wow.
I just and I'll
102
be the first one to, we've said it on the show before and on the live stream. I don't think I'm much of a Chucky person. Like I think the first Child's Play is like it's great, it's good. The rest of them, Bride of Chucky's pretty good. Like you mentioned, you like the Bride of Frankenstein stuff. It's a little harder for me to get into the Chucky stuff, but every time something scary happened, it felt really forced.
Sure.
And I know like the vibe of Chucky is like it's supposed to be like have a fun time horror film.
Yep.
And maybe I wasn't in the right mindset for it, but for me it just didn't do it.
Makes sense.
And the other thing is, I don't know if people notice, a lot of people said they didn't like the CGI of Cult of Chucky. This is a little tangent. But I also thought the voice of Brad Dourif, he is Chucky. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's his voice.
Totally.
I don't know if it was the mix of how they did his voice, but it just did not look like it fit.
That's weird.
In this film. And I think that might also be the reason why, like, whenever anything scary happened with Chucky, I was like, it just looks weird. And it doesn't, I can't really buy it. So,
All right.
all of Cult of Chucky is my worst jump scare.
I'll buy that.
So,
I could have done it.
but I'll defend it at the end because I can't, there's just something in my
Positivity.
there's just something about me. I can't shit on something without saying something positive. But that's for the end.
All right. So best jump scare.
Oh, this is where this is funny.
Yeah, there were a lot of. I mean, obviously, I'm not a big jump scare fan in general. I would have been in the 40s, like when Val Lewton was doing it, but since we're 2,000 of them a year now, it's a thing. But
And they sort of been like in the eyes of the horror community, like jump scares are like a cop out, but like
Yeah.
there's still like really good ways to do a jump scare.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Exorcist 3 just proved
Yes.
that you can do a jump scare right if you put enough imagination and have the patience to craft it the
Yes.
right way. That's what made that so special. In Exorcist 3 was that scene goes on forever before the what are
The
those
nun,
scissors
yeah,
come out.
the whatever.
So my runner up is my favorite jump scare in It, which is when Beverly's in the bathroom and she turns around to leave and Pennywise attacks her after she's confronted her father.
Yeah.
And it's because I like the twinning of those two evil forces, like her dad and Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they were paired up where the father's sort of grinding her down and creeping her out, but not like he's trying to keep his evil hidden on the inside, and Pennywise's evil is all on the outside.
He's like, I don't give a fuck.
Right, exactly. And I thought it was really well done, but that's not my favorite jump scare. My favorite jump scare of the year is going to be a little bit of a cheat, but I can't help it. It's the ending of Twin Peaks. It's not really like a jump scare traditionally, but I will never forget just watching the time run down and being like, wait, there's only like a minute left in
Calculating.
in this season, and this might be the last of all. And this is what I was saying about crafting the jump scare right. You have to get the audience off their balance and then hit them with the jump scare, which is what The Exorcist 3, it kind of lulls you to sleep and you're like, wow, this is the most boring thing I've ever watched. And then the jump scare.
Yeah.
And it was in the entire history of Twin Peaks, the one person who's been able to figure everything out is Cooper, because he's a detective by nature. He figures things out. He wakes up from his like coma in the hospital and instantly knows everything that was happening. He's supernaturally
I just love that scene.
smart.
I
It's a
am the
great-
FBI.
it's a great scene.
It gives me chills. Thinking
Right,
about
exactly.
that.
But now what you there's this character that's one of the TV's greatest characters. You've been following him for years and years and years if you've been a fan, and to have him turn around and look confused and be like, what year is this? And not know what year it is. The guy who figures everything out. When he said that, it was like a gut punch. I was like, this is the guy who knows everything and he doesn't even know what fucking year he's in. And while my brain was reeling on that, Shirley just unleashes that horrendous scream out of nowhere that you don't expect. And it fades to black. And I was just actually chilling. Like that's scary as fucking moment. So
That was I just remember that feeling, like feeling cold.
yep,
That was
exactly,
super good.
exactly. What's your best jump scare?
My best jump scare. So my runner-up was the painting in It.
Yes.
I love that whole scene. I
Yep.
love the way it was crafted. I love the just how freaky it was, which is funny because my winner last year was Valak, the
That's
Valak
right.
painting.
That's right.
So I didn't want it to be two paintings back to back.
Whatever.
But the one guy I had to give a huge shout out for. There's not enough freaky scarecrow films in the world.
True.
There's like oh god, wow, I forget the name of the one.
Oh, you're going to Annabelle.
I'm going Annabelle Creation with the scarecrow. I love that fucking.
That was great. That was also great how they set it up.
Everything about that scarecrow in that film was perfect. Like I almost, now they're doing the Nun.
Yep.
Watch them be like scarecrow. And the other reason I like it is one of my favorite Batman villain is the Scarecrow.
Yes.
Who uses the fear toxins and everything.
Yes.
So seeing like an actual fucking scary skeleton
Totally.
was amazing. The build up for it was great. The design of it, I mean, the design of a scarecrow sounds simple, but it just looked menacing.
Right.
The way that he terrorized them in the barn was fucking awesome.
It was really clever. And one of the things is scarecrows are just inherently creepy.
Yeah.
They're creepy the way clowns are. And the reason we're not afraid of scarecrows the way we are of clowns is they don't move.
Mm-hmm.
Which is brilliant what they did with this one because,
when he
because he
looked
wasn't
up.
moving.
Oh.
Exactly, for most of the time. So that was pretty badass. And that's, it's really like when you think about like the tier. So you got the top monsters, vampires, werewolves, all that stuff. And then you got the medium tier that we've talked about, like witches, right? Which,
Yeah. They don't give a lot of
they
love.
come and go, right? But then the other tier is dolls, scarecrows, clowns. And this movie had the haunted doll and the scarecrow. The fact that they were putting those, they brought two tiers together. It's like your Buckeyes, two great tastes.
That's exactly it. So whoever played this,
Right.
the team behind Annabelle,
Yes,
and Twin Peaks, David Lynch. We know you like coffee.
totally.
Get a little treat.
He
behind
doesn't like coffee. He mainlines coffee.
That's
He is coffee.
Very true. Very true. So I gave it to the Scarecrow.
All right.
from Annabelle Creation. All right, so best creature.
Best creature. I've got nothing else to say here except for Pennywise. I mean, I have other choices, but why elaborate on it? It's just Pennywise. The thing with his, the fact that he was able to credibly, I don't want to compare him and Tim Curry, but the fact that he was able to credibly fill that role. And when you do behind the scenes, when you look at some of the like behind the scenes featurettes and stuff that around that movie, what he was doing when the way he was acting that part was just a great combination of human traits mixed with like an alien creature, because he brought like a real human element to it, but he sort of hid it behind the makeup and some mannerisms or whatever. But that combination that's why I love Frankenstein so much. He's just such a great combination of monster with human, and Pennywise was the same thing. A pretty obvious choice.
And taking on like an iconic character like that
Totally.
is not easy. Like,
No, fuck no.
and I certainly don't think, and I personally love it, and the fact that it wasn't like, because it either goes two ways. There's no, it's neither, it's never like, yeah, he did okay. It's either, he was really great and he stands toe to toe with Tim Curry in the greatness, or he fucking flopped.
Of course.
And he didn't do that.
Right.
And that's a big fucking risk to take.
Totally. And a lot of people have attempted to do that kind of thing and just face planted. So, the fact that he did it. And another thing is, forget the actor, just the creature himself, like the concept of it. I like monsters that have extensions to them. Like that's, one of the things that I love about Godzilla, and one of the few things I could stomach about the recent Godzilla movie, which is so painfully boring, but you forget how aquatic Godzilla was. Like he was like a fucking Olympic swimmer in that movie, and that means like the ocean is like his home, right?
His territory.
And the sewers are the extension of Pennywise, and I found them equally as terrifying as him. But I just picture him as like kind of like inanimate tentacles attached to him. Just reach out into the town, and just all of that is great to me. Okay, what's your?
All right, so when I first was creating my list, the Scarecrow topped it, because I was like,
Sure.
I haven't seen a scary Scarecrow in forever. This is great, but he didn't win. He's my runner-up. My second runner-up, I have a few. God of Light.
Sure.
It was those creatures.
Yes,
Those guys from
the
God of
woodsman.
Light.
Yep.
I also put in basically every creature from Kong Skull Island.
Oh,
Because they were beautifully fucking done.
They were cool.
And even the design of
I
Kong.
totally forgot about that movie.
Right?
Which means it should be failing my memory test. Okay, go.
Exactly. And then I wanted to give a shout out. I've only seen the trailers, but from what I've seen, it looks so good. It's not out yet, but The Shape of Water.
Yes.
Anything
Yeah, good
Guillermo
point.
does.
Good point.
It's
That's
always-
out this year, right?
Yeah, it's December 9th.
Yeah.
It just always looks so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to cry that movie. I'm going to love it so much. But my number one, we both know who it is. And this is it's criminally underrated this year. Is Kelvin from Life.
Yes.
Because he has one thing he wants to do, and that is just
Survive.
And I
Right.
fucking love that.
Yeah.
Like, because like you can't. It's not like the how some villains are. They're just bad because they want to be bad.
Sure.
And it makes no sense.
Yes.
But when you're like, hey, this is just a thing trying to survive.
Everything follows from that. Even like the xenomorphs were given this weird half-assed. They were weaponized by, the robot,
The engineers or whatever.
The engineers, but also like it turns out like it's Fassbender was. It doesn't matter. That's what I mean. Is you get all lost in the details or whatever. This was just like this thing wants to survive and eat, and all the evil it does flows from that one concept.
Exactly. And while it wants to destroy you to survive, like you would do the same shit.
Right.
Like you are going to survive.
Totally.
And I like that. It's very simple.
Totally.
And the fact
It'd be like being friends in like the 80s with Bill Gates. Because he would just destroy you. He'd be nice to you, but if you were in his way, business-wise, he would just... Everything flows from that.
If Kelvin
one concept.
30 years from now starts like curing malaria and getting fresh water to
Donating
clean.
99% of it.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what, Calvin, you did the right thing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on you. But the fact that he's like all muscle
Yep.
and super strong, super smart.
It's really cool that he starts from nothing.
Exactly.
He's so tiny in the beginning of
It
that
is
movie.
like the perfect. I mean, Life was like the alien film of the 50s done today beautifully.
Yes.
And they did the monster really well. And I am going to say for 2017, Life is going to be the most underrated horror film
Yeah,
of the year.
I think that's true. I think at least in the big budget category, that's definitely
Exactly. And Kelvin deserves to be in like the collage of horror
Yep.
people.
A lot of people were complaining about like that he looked like, and you know what's funny is there's an amazing movie called, I'm gonna hope I get this name right, called Splinter, where there's a creature and it starts with sort of needles and grows into like a black mold mass, you know, and it reminds me of Calvin. And every time I talk to someone about Splinter, they're like, "Oh yeah, that movie was really great." And then it's the same people who are like, "What about Life?" And they're like, "No, Jake Gyllenhaal sucks." I'm like, "What is happening?"
I don't get that. It's a pretty
It
solid
was-
cast.
It's a good movie.
And the death scene. It was the first death scene that made me gag.
Yep. Yeah.
Like watching it.
Yeah. That was.
I can't think about it. All right, so that's best creature. All right, so now on to best intro to a character.
Yes.
This is a fun one.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I have two.
Okay.
I'm going to go way out on a limb here. Way out on a limb.
Are you gonna?
My runner-up is The Mummy from The Mummy, which is a shit movie.
Yeah.
Right? But I love that backstory thing. Remember in the Brendan Fraser Mummy when they show the mummy getting buried and they're putting like what bugs or
like
snakes
the
or
scarab beetles.
Scarab beetles. I love that whole backstory, and I thought that was one of the very few things that the Mummy did well.
Yeah.
They basically the two things it did well were that, and it had an ending.
Yeah.
And then just keep going. But anyway, that's the runner-up just because I wanted to get Mummy in here in some positive way somehow. That's the one thing it did right. So whatever.
Good on it.
But my best introduction to a character, and it's actually, I'm stitching together like the beginning scene, so it's not just the first shot, which is probably not how we should be doing this. But the couple in Get Out is my favorite introductions to characters. Just the way that you meet them and how they seem like a very functional, connected together couple, and the little touches that are in there that once the reveal happens that you have to go back and think. One of the reasons that I love that intro is there's so many things happening in those first scenes that when you go back and watch it again, knowing what happened, there's little details where you're like, oh shit, how did I not catch that? And that's now, of course, that's why she said that, and that's whatever. But the whole opening sequence from when she's buying him like the treat at the bakery to just the little character touch she does where she's trying to open the door with like her head. Which is just a great, detail. You got her, she's holding two things and she like pushes the door open with her head. And then all the way up until when the police pull them over and you're getting to know them and just the way she throws down for him. And it's exactly the opposite of what you think it is. Exactly. The reason she's doing what she's doing is exactly the opposite of what you think it is as a first time viewer, which is, anytime you can flip that inside out like that is just amazing.
So that's best intro to a character.
Yes.
I went with Ed Kemper from Mindhunter.
Oh yeah, that's right. I kept forgetting we were incorporating TV.
I love.
That's a great.
I love this. The setup. The whole going to interview a serial killer. And then talking about how he's just this giant behemoth guy. And when Bill, his partner, he's like, "Are you gonna?" Or Holden's like, "I'm gonna take a gun in." And Bill goes, "You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna take that thing from you, shoot you, and then have sex with your face." I love that. And then just when you meet Ed Kemper, you see this big bulking, like guy come in. And then Holden just looks the detective, frightened out of his mind. He sits down, and all of a sudden Ed Kemper's like, "Sure, let's talk about being serial killers." You're like, "What?" That's the voice coming out of that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "How can I help you?" It's just,
I love it. They set the way they set it up to like, oh, it's this crazy fucking killer. He's so dangerous, and he's like the nicest guy in the world for up until the very end. He does some questionable things.
Yes.
I just love the introduction. It's almost like in a movie whenever like someone's like, let's meet Tiny, and then Tiny's always like a 6'2" like bodybuilder. Sure. It's always that flip, and I really like that. And his character was just completely fucking interesting.
Yes.
Through the whole series, and the guy who played it was phenomenal. But my runner up was Billy from Stranger Things.
That makes sense.
Just the hair and the mustache and like the open button down shirt. I wrote down his name. I'm gonna botch his first name. Decker Montgomery. He was also the Red Ranger in the Power Rangers film that just came out.
Sure.
And he is fucking fantastic. And I just love when people can play like completely shit characters but have a charm to them. So the introduction to him was my but Ed Kemper, Mindhunter.
And there were some great introductions to characters. It's one of the things I feel like just movies, because horror movies are on an upswing. They're getting more recognition. They're getting more acclaim. The craft is going up because of the attention and the money involved, and the stakes are a little higher than they used to be. So even like middle of the road movies like The Babysitter just have great introductions to characters.
Nope.
Nope. All right.
Can I lead off worst introduction to a character?
Oh no! Okay, go.
Babysitter.
Damn it! Which one?
I actually like when the kid gets hit in the head and the titles come
Yes.
up. I didn't like
That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't like the introduction. So this is a weird one. I actually wrote some notes next to this one. I have to explain.
Okay.
I didn't like the intro to the actual babysitter herself because
I don't remember.
The kid got bullied and she came in and like fucked with the two.
Oh
kids
yeah, that was terrible.
I didn't like that introduction. I thought because the films felt like it was half Edgar Wright with like Joss Whedon quippy dialogue.
Yes.
And I wasn't buying it.
Right.
And I didn't like the scene between them making like the pizzas and sitting in the kitchen talking with their team.
Yeah, that was all terrible. It wasn't until the ritual happened that the movie got great.
And that was my note, was like I didn't like that whole part, but when the shit hit the fan from there on out, I fucking loved it.
Yes.
And I super loved the ending.
Yes.
Which was like really gave me conflicting feelings about the film. I'm like,
sure.
I hated the beginning, but the ending was kind of fucking dope. I think I like this movie.
Yeah, totally.
But I stand by the fact that I did not like the introduction to the character.
I like the introduction to the kid, and I thought he was
Yes.
The babysitter's obviously caricature, but the kid was a pretty interesting character. And at the end, when he delivered that, I don't need a babysitter line, his character development was just so cool. From that first time you met him, how hopeless he was to like how strong he was at the end.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So babysitter's
Actually,
the worst.
we're gonna get to this at the end, but I initiated this last year, and Nick liked it, so we're keeping it. But there's a thing that I call the memory test, where you see a movie and then 2 months later, when you think about it, you can't remember a single goddamn thing that happened in it, which means it failed the memory test. And The Babysitter has all kinds of flaws. I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but man, does it pass the memory test.
Yes.
I can remember like 8 individual scenes, big patches of dialogue, the car flying in the air at the house at the end. Like, it's a very sticky movie. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Worst introduction to a character to me is the reintroduction of Samara in Rings. Get the fuck out of here with this plain screen bullshit. Are you kidding me? I can't believe they Final Destination this thing up, and I can't believe that this is. Oh, it's so
Rings is
aggravating.
probably the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, and Rings is my personal big disappointment, but not really, because it's not surprising, because Ring 2 was also terrible. Not this bad. But that's my most disappointing franchise. If I could throw a lifeline and rescue any horror franchise, it would be the Ring franchise, because I love the first movie.
Yeah.
I really, really, really enjoyed it. And nothing in that franchise since has done any justice to it. But every introduction, honestly, to every character in Rings was terrible. The bland fucking couple and the whole education department and all that crap was dog shit. But come on, Samara is one of the best new horror icons. And
Rings is definitely a how not to make a horror film.
Exactly. So that was terrible.
I buy that. That's a good one. All right. Best plot twist.
You go.
You go? Well, I'm gonna ring back around to what you mentioned a little bit earlier.
Okay.
What year is it? Twin Peaks.
Yes.
That's my winner.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, holy shit, was that like, because you got me into Twin Peaks. I would have never gotten into Twin Peaks for you. We talked about it and I was like, I'll give it a shot. Then I got invested. And then I got that bomb dropped on me at the very end. And I remember just thinking, like, immediately, like going to the internet and like messaging you going, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
And we still don't really know what it means.
But I like the way it's I love all the ways people have interpreted it.
Yes.
because there's some answers that I like, some I don't, and I'm like, hey, I just get to cherry pick which ending I think I got, and I'm happy about it.
Exactly.
My runner up, though, I guess I should have started with my runner up, was the Beast slash
Split.
and then the ending when you see the guy from Unbreakable.
Yep.
And then the brain transplant when they and Get Out, when they finally tell you what's going on.
Yep.
Holy shit! Did that movie feel like just a super well done Twilight Zone episode?
Totally.
Like it just felt so like it had something to say.
It is my best plot twist. But my plot twist for the way I thought about it was, I really liked when she hypnotizes him and Get Out that first time.
Yes.
With the tea and the spoon, excuse me. And it came shortly after the insane running scene outside.
Yeah.
The groundskeeper is running straight at him and then veers off. And that whole, that he went out to sneak out for a cigarette, which is just a whole nother thing about the flaws in their perfect couple. Mm-hmm. And you know, parents are judgmental of, you bring a significant other home and you find out they're a smoker. It's really disappointing, but it's disappointing to them for a whole nother totally next level sicko reason.
That is pretty next level.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then when she hypnotizes, and I think here's the thing, I love when horror goes against the grain. So you and I talked about this. I'm going to give just a horrible example. At the end of the movie Life, I found the ending really effective. A lot of people hated it, but I loved it. And I was almost one of my best plot twist things because I like that one ship went one way and the other. But if you think back to that, if you've seen that movie, the music is unbelievable. It's like cannons going off. It's like 14 military orchestras playing at the same time. It's so loud and it's so manipulative. It's so like you are going to be scared. You are going to be scared. And horror movies do that more and more. We talked about Dunkirk, how it's just like a 2-hour assault on your ears.
Yeah.
And Get Out had a plot twist accompanied with this sound. Ding. I was like, it's so delicate and so interesting and so against the grain of what horror usually does. Just a little tap of a spoon on a cup and the plot spins off into he's in the dark place or whatever the hell it was called. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he's like floating and lost and trapped and that's the face on the poster where he's like got the tear coming down his face.
Yeah.
And because everything pivots there to that. And there are other plot twists that came later on. I actually liked the girlfriend plot twist. Mm-hmm. Especially when she was sitting in bed and like picking out the next victim and eating.
Oh yeah.
Eating milk and Oreos or something.
Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops, whatever it was. So I mean, all of that was great. But it was just an amazing thing. But I just like that the first one came so quietly.
Yeah.
As opposed to what horror movies usually do.
So well done. All right. Worst plot twist.
Nothing comes at night. It's called It Comes at Night, and then nothing comes at night. There's nothing there. It is the worst plot twist because you promised it. You promised it in the marketing. You promised it in the trailers. You promised it in the title.
Yes.
You build up to it the whole movie, and then nothing comes at night. If you had called it Nothing Comes at Night and then a great monster had arrived with 10 minutes left, it would have been a plot twist too, but better than the one you went with. What is this? I mean, I get it. I love quiet horror. Like I love The Witch and I liked Babadook and I love House of the Devil. Like I'm a slow burn horror kind of person. Black Coat's Daughter is one of my favorite horror movies of this year. But this was bullshit.
I've never seen like just an explosion of hatred.
Yeah, I'm
so you feel, but tell us how you really feel.
I'm done telling you how I really feel. That was terrible.
Yeah, I buy that. Plus, it was such a letdown because the poster looked so fucking dope with the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Like it's. But see, the funny thing is, The Thing did this same thing, but nobody notices it. Well, not nobody, but I mean, it's not as talked about. But it's the same thing. you're under siege. There's a force outside, but what's worse is it's inside, and what's also worse is it's dividing you up. There's paranoia, and you don't know who to trust, and you're getting eaten out from the inside. The threat's not out there; it's in here. The call's coming from in your house. I mean, that's what this concept is, right? But you don't have to.
You got to deliver them.
Well, yeah, whatever. But it's that the thing did both. Everyone was like praising It Comes at Night. It's like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they were saying like how well done it was. And Joel Edgerton's a great actor. It's a great cast. Like,
yeah,
all of that is atmospherics were great. All of that was great. But you don't. I mean, that's just unambitious to me. You can do more than one of these things.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm done with that movie.
that was so cold. That was a breakup.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I packed my things up. You're never hearing from me again.
Exactly.
My runner-up for worst plot twist is the episode of Lore with werewolves.
Okay.
Turns out it's just serial killers.
Yes.
Like I didn't expect there
thought
to
the same
be.
thing.
I didn't expect there to be like werewolves.
You were hoping. Fingers crossed.
I was hoping
Right.
for. I don't know. I was even hoping like for people who like I don't know grew out their fingernails
Sure.
or like ate human. Like, like something along that line. But it was just people killing people.
Right.
That sucked.
Yeah.
I do like a lot of lore, but that episode, that's probably the worst episode. The worst plot twist though, I liked the movie, hated the ending. The twist was the twist in Happy Death.
Really?
I hated it. The fact that it all happened because it was the whole like you stole a boy from me and now I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
Like really?
That was pretty weak.
You put all that shit together and then it's all because of a fucking boy? Get the fuck out of here with that lame ass shit.
Yeah, and there was all this existential stuff, heavy stuff going on with her reliving over and over again. It's just
and then it turns out that was it.
just your roommate. Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's like that big ball from Raiders of the Lost Ark chasing Indiana Jones, and then he just turns around, just holds his finger out, and it stops it. And like it had no weight behind it. Like the buildup was so great, and then he just goes.
It's a paper mache ball.
Yeah, that's just a weak pile of shit right there. And then she died really weird too.
I would. What do you mean she died? Really?
She like kicked her out of the window.
Yeah, she did. I might devil's advocate this one a little bit. I mean, the engine that makes that movie work, the vibe of it is that college, like sorority atmosphere. So I mean, who would have made a better killer? Like the boyfriend she kept coming across, that would have been dumb.
No, it's not like it's not the killer, it's the motive.
Yeah.
Like it still could have been the same woman.
Oh, I got good
but for a
point.
completely different fucking reason. The whole you stole
point.
a boy from me, like
I'll buy that.
like a little bit better.
Yeah, okay.
I say keep it the same roommate because like that I like the idea. I like the idea that it's her roommate killing her. Mm-hmm. It's just the fact that it's over a boy, not like it could have been a billion other like better things.
Yes,
but that was part. I was like, eh.
I did like the poison cupcake, or
and I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. It's just the reasoning behind the cupcake.
I'm totally with you.
Like,
when you say it like that, that's totally.
But I do like the idea of it being the roommate because
Right.
I think for most people who stayed in dorms probably wanted to kill their roommate.
So, yeah, I'm totally.
So that all adds up.
Totally with it.
All right, so that was worst plot twist.
So our next award is best friendship in a horror.
This was probably the hardest one.
2017. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you consider a romantic married couple also friends?
Yeah.
So I can pick a married couple.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying to me? It's not okay.
Who the fuck are you picking?
I know. I'm just making sure because
yeah, because like there's a friend. It's not best like relationship. It's best friendship, and within that relationship, they're friends because that's what they're like. Hey, we're compatible as friends. Let's take it to the next level. So that the underlying friendship is in the relationship.
All right, Dougie and Naomi Watts.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do that. I fucking knew it because I almost put Dougie on there just to be funny. I almost put Dougie on there, but I was like,
Twin Peaks. I know this is turning into a Twin Peaks heavy, like whatever, but there's all kinds of runner-ups, right? I mean, obviously the Get Out, the guy with the TSA guy, that has got to be, on the Olympic stand getting a medal, and the Losers Club, clearly, obviously. Although I would argue that there's no single individual friendship in there. Because the movie ends right when Bev is
taken off.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there was something so. Yeah. So another thing about, and I guess one of the reasons I'm putting it on here is everything is so cynical now. Like culture is so negative, and everybody is like, it's just nonstop. Everything is so jaded, and everyone's like full of conspiracy theories and fake news and all this bullshit. And there was something so sweet and innocent about their not just their relationship but their friendship.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a little bit one-sided because Dougie's pretty much out of it most of the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does, save her life and, and bring her some really cool things into her life. And I think one of the things, as we know, that one of the things I like is when horror goes against the grain, and so much of their relationship was built on not talking. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really hard to pull off as actresses. And I think Kyle MacLachlan and Naomi Watts are two of the most talented people who have ever acted in something that had horror elements in it. And just the way it ended with, them driving in that car and Dougie's son being like, wow, Dad can drive really good. Like that all of that was just so sweet and such an interesting counterpoint to most of what happened in horror this year that I'm going with them.
So my runner-up was Losers Club.
Yes.
And these guys were going to be my winner. But then I was debating on, like, what puts you in, like, the best friendship category.
Sure.
And I think best friendship is, like, understanding your friend.
Yes.
And, like, knowing, like, what's, like, you sort of know what's best for them.
Yes.
So most of the times. So my other runner-up was Holden and Bill from Mindhunter.
Okay.
Because I really love the way we
They are
saw
great.
their relationship build.
Yep.
And how opposite they are of each other, than how they sort of form together. But like you said, this is a no-brainer. Chris Washington and Rod Williams from Get Out.
Right.
Those are the character names. Because the TSA guy is just the ultimate fucking bro. Like, he knew from the get, like, something ain't right about that. Like, he had that intuition for
Totally.
his friend. Like, you know what?
Totally.
I'm just going to go on a limb here and say don't do that. And the other thing is he also pulled through at the end. Like, the Losers Club all came together and,
Yes.
like, stopped Pennywise for the time being.
Totally.
But, he's going to come back, and they have to, their friendship is, we have not seen their friendship through the whole story arc.
Yes.
But we have so far with Chris and Rod's. And I think the idea that he also was his saving grace at the end and
Yep.
delivered the amazing lines.
Yeah, when you watch the alternate ending.
You know what's funny, though?
Yes.
Like, I really like the Twilight Zone, like, creep show kind of stuff, like the horror movies that, like, have, like, a message at the end.
Sure.
And I love happy endings to death.
Yes.
But part of me wishes, like, that ending of Chris Washington in jail was the real ending.
Right.
Because it's just so fucking real.
Yep.
And it's more of, like, a fuck you to, like, a lot of how society,
Totally.
is acting. That's a different tangent. But
Yes.
the bromance between them, say, having each other's back and
Yes.
getting them out of danger
Yes.
in the theatrical cut.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I was really torn. That was going to be. It was very hard for me not to.
And even the way, like, they talk to each other on the phone, like, they're, like, playing video games while the other one's visiting the girlfriend. Like, they it's almost like they don't have to talk to each other to know how each other's doing.
Yes. Yes. Totally.
And I like that. So that's best friendship.
All right. Worst friendship in a horror movie, horror show in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
My runner up is Margot and Jules in Channel Zero No End House.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the writers did this on purpose, but these two girls are supposed to be best friends, and they suck at friendship for 99% of their friendship. Mm-hmm. They have like one good moment in the first episode, then everything goes off the rails, and then they are bad, horrible friends to each other pretty much through the other 5.5 episodes until the very end of the last episode. And I think that they want us to think that they're better friends than I think they came across as. But they're pretty terrible fucking friends. Like, they let each other down nonstop.
Yeah.
Tons of different ways. But my actual one, because I just want to set this movie on fire, is all of the friendships in Flatliners. Oh my God.
That makes sense.
God.
That makes a lot of
These
sense.
people are they're like the worst of modern, like, friendship caricatures. Oh, it's so bad. And everything was contorted by the plot. Almost all the things they were doing to each other were so not real, not the way people ever treat each other. I mean, literally, I know, like, I love the original one, but I know it's flawed. But the cast and just the willingness to just go for it got that movie through. And this movie has none of that. But they invite each other down to the basement to kill each other, and then the Ellen Page is like, I want you guys to kill me, and then the one friend's like, they're okay, and the other friend's like, no, I feel like this is a risky thing to do at this point in my life, my career as a medical student.
What makes you say that?
It was just it was so gratingly badly written that fuck those people. I wish they just had gone down to the basement and then all killed each other, and then the movie ended. But
well,
let me tell you how I really feel about that one too. Anyway,
my runner-up
worst friendship
for worst friendship would be between God and Mother Earth and Mother.
Good pick.
Isn't that good?
That is a good pick.
Literally the
I'm
whole,
jealous of that pick.
From like the halfway point. No, like more than that. A little more than the halfway point. It's just you watching their friendship deteriorate.
Yes.
So, Losers
Yes.
Club is about them coming together. Mother is just watching them, increase the distance between each other
Totally.
the whole time until it leads to her.
Totally. That's not your runner-up, is it? Because that is
That's my
best.
runner-up.
Oh my God, you got something better than that?
I got some better up.
All right. Because I would argue that not only are you right about that friendship being, dog shit in that movie, but I mean, if you believe in it, it's probably that bad in real life.
Yeah.
Mother Nature and God are not getting along that great.
So
you got a double win there.
My runner-up,
Yes.
before she died, would be Annabelle and her relationship with the truck.
That's just cold. That's just cold.
That's my winner. I should probably flip it, but I'm going to stick to what I said.
That's cold.
I think the
man.
relationship between them didn't last very long, ended with death, and that's the worst relationship.
That's really cold, brother.
So that's what I went with.
All right.
I think we'll just pretend that the God Mother Earth one was my actual answer, but
Sure.
I'm gonna stick with Annabelle in the truck.
All right, I'm with you.
Which also could have worked as my best death, which is next. But
Yes.
I screwed the pooch on that one.
No, it's okay.
All right, so now best death.
Best death. All right. Don't get mad at me. Twin Peaks arm wrestling scene.
Oh yeah.
By far there were some good deaths in movies this year. I liked even the ones where you didn't get to explicitly see. Like I liked when that one random punk in the sewer got taken out by Pennywise. That was great.
Yep.
Happy Death Day is just chock full of them. Like you got a lot of good examples of this. But if you guys haven't seen, just Google Twin Peaks: The Return arm wrestling scene. If you're not a fan, you don't have to watch the rest. But just this is what I was talking about the patience to set up a scene right. Like this scene starts with Evil Cooper coming into a room, outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned. You don't know why he's there, how he thinks he's going to get out of this. And then you have this like almost pseudo, it's like a horror Western. It's like a gunfight in an alley, except for they're doing it arm wrestling, which is ridiculous.
By the guy who played Jason in the latest Friday.
Yeah, exactly. And it's he's so intimidating, and the whole thing is so ludicrous. But for some reason, because the actors are so good, they're able to sell it. You forget how ridiculous it is. I love the guy shouting the rules to the arm wrestling, and just the way it ends, I can't get it out of my head. Like I keep seeing it because Kyle MacLachlan breaks his arm, then stands up and punches him, and when you see him on the ground, it's like his head collapsed like an egg. It's all smushed in and weird, and it's not even a round head anymore. It's
like
just,
a doll.
It's so gross, and it was so. I expected him to break his arm. That was where that whole scene was headed.
Yeah,
I didn't expect him to cave in his head.
No, that was
with a punch. So that was pretty amazing.
That makes it a little different there.
And my runner-up is, I keep forgetting this guy's name, but you and I had talked about this in a previous episode. I really like the implications of the brain transplant get out scene where the room gets caught on fire and the guy's alive. He's out of it. His head's off. His top of his head's off, but he's going to burn up. It's just,
I love that.
It's just sinister, but good.
My runner up was actually Rose from Get Out.
Yes.
I mean, she eventually dies from like the gunshot that.
She takes a beating.
Yeah, but I like her getting.
That was very satisfying death.
It was what it was, and you don't get that a whole lot in the horror movies nowadays. Is like the cheerful like fuck you to the villain.
Yes.
And that felt so good when she got it. My second runner up for like the heroic death, best death, was from Bob from Stranger Things, when he does his duty.
Sure.
And then that last second when he looks over at Winona Ryder's character.
Yep.
And then the little Demogorgon dogs jump on him. Oh, it was so sad. But my number one went to Georgie from It.
That makes sense.
Because
they went there. They took
did
off the arm. They did it.
Yep. That was the biggest thing for me, is that they didn't hold back. And it was sort of like, what we said for Skarsgård playing Pennywise is, everyone freaks out about clowns because of the whole Hiya Georgie scene from the original It. And this one had to not only live up to it, but it had to do better. Like, it had to do better because that's how you're starting off this film. Yeah. And especially with people who are like, the purists and love the original, like this one had to hit the fucking mark.
Well, and you don't, as horror movies generally don't like killing children.
Yeah.
Right? It's something
and you got the full arm off.
Yeah.
And when Pennywise, unhinges his mouth and he has all those teeth in there, I thought that looked great. And it's just the perfect way to set the tone for that film.
Yes. And it's just, I mean, it's such an iconic introduction that you can just. The SNL did a parody skit where it was Kellyanne Conway in the sewer. And she was trying to entice Anderson Cooper down in the sewer, and they did the same scene beat for beat. And you just, it's like you're being told a myth. It's like you're on a fire, and someone's telling you a story that you've heard so many times before. It's just it's just an iconic moment. So yeah, I'm glad they didn't drop.
A lot of the reasons it's on this is because like. You surpassed the expectations, and a lot of the heat they were getting. I mean, it wasn't a lot of heat; it was a lot of hype, but there was a lot of like, at least in the horror fans, they were like, "Oh, it's not going to be as good as the original," and then it came out and was like, we don't need to. We could be our own fucking thing." All right, so best advertising.
All right, best advertising. This is interesting because I'm a big fan of the marketing campaigns behind a lot of. I mean, I think horror movies marketing is we've talked about this before. Is just Pray for Rosemary's Baby and In Space No One Can Hear You Scream. It's some of the most iconic things that all movies have done. Right. I'm going to give the award to Split, and I'm going to do it because that is some next level shit that M. Night who everyone is expecting to have a twist ending, managed to put out a poster for Split that gave away the unbreakable twist in the poster. Yeah. He did it in plain sight of all of the world. The director, everyone's trying to like pick up a crumb and figure out where this guy's headed. And he just, I mean, that is a huge chess move. Fuck you to, and when you realize after the fact that he just did it right in front of you, it's like it's like literally if I stole that microphone out in front of you while you were podcasting and you didn't know what was happening. Like, you just did it. Like, it was pretty great.
That was a good advertising, and a lot of people were like curious about when the movie came out. I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, he's making fun," or he's making a villain of people with mental disabilities, and the fact like the advertising was like, it's not really what that is.
Yeah, no,
like, it's just a fucking.
They knew what they had to get across. Yeah,
exactly, and they did a good job of conveying that. Totally. In terms of just pouring,
and James McAvoy, by the way,
fucking actor of the year.
Holy shit, that guy is good. I just saw Atomic Blonde, and he's amazing in that. He's just amazing. Like, props to him. But God,
I like him a lot. So I put It on there. And because I didn't want it to be like the It Awards, but they did so much behind this. You couldn't, exactly. You couldn't avoid it.
Nope.
They had the VR experience. Yep. They had great social media. They still do, because the film is coming on Blu-ray soon, and like the advertisements
they're still online, going. Yeah, they're good. At
like they're committed to it, and the team behind it is doing a good fucking job.
Totally. Like, you watch bad advertising, and I don't think this movie was this year. If it was, I would have picked it. So tell me if I'm wrong, but. You want to like Morgan was so badly done, and I was getting ads on social media for this movie, and they were so boring. I was like, "Why are you spending money to show this shit to me?"
Right.
It's terrible. And it was the opposite. It had the mystery. It had the great visuals. Yeah, I totally agree.
And then also I put Get Out in terms of
Sure.
this isn't really marketing, but in terms of word of mouth.
Yes.
This was the first film in a while where like people were talking like, "You gotta see this fucking movie!"
Yep.
Like, holy shit, it's great.
Yep.
And then I also quickly added worst marketing,
Yes.
which I think we can both agree on would be Rings, because it was dumb.
Rings was dumb.
But the one that I think actually did more damage to the film
Yes.
was the trailers and marketing for Life.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there were a lot of trailers this year that weren't representative of how the movie actually was going to be. Like,
Yeah, but this movie was actually still delivered
Yes.
post bad trailer. Like,
Yeah,
a lot
totally.
of those films had bad trailers
Totally.
followed by bad films.
Yes.
This one was like, they had like that like Leonard Skinner or whatever
Yeah.
song,
Yeah,
and it just did not fit the vibe or the tone of that
No,
film at all.
that's totally true. That was totally off. My worst marketing was Bye Bye Man, and it was mainly because they didn't convince anyone to change that title. Which would have been and then the marketing campaign should have been like, look, we know the worst name of any movie released this year, but come see it anyway. I mean, that should have been the marketing campaign. You got to confront the elephant in the room. That movie was never going to succeed with that fucking horrible name.
That was a really dumb name. That was a really bad name.
You screwed that up. And then just the advertising was so off because when they tried to make you feel like there was going to be serious, I felt like I was watching trailers for Lights Out.
Yeah.
Except for with this dumb name
Yeah.
and worse
Yeah.
execution, right? So not only is it terrible, but it's also derivative. Like you just ripped the trailers that would just have. Like I just saw Lights Out trailers like months before that. You know?
It was dog shit.
Yep.
It was actual dog shit.
All right,
Best evil force.
go.
All right, so I am going to go with, this is my runner up, the Upside Down.
Okay.
I mean, how could it not?
No, yeah, totally.
How could it not?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Totally.
one of the coolest, like,
And it's a thing now.
Yeah.
I was telling Jenny she was making a mistake. She was just tired and she was telling me something opposite, whatever. I'm like, you're totally in the upside down right now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a reference in life now. It's escape to the.
I think that's when we were
show.
debating what a scowl was.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And that's what you threw out. You're the
Yeah.
upside down. You're the upside
Exactly.
down. My biggest force of evil,
Yes.
I'm giving this movie another shout out.
All right.
Humanity in Mother. What a fucking mirror that
What a
is.
mess we are. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like I watched that, like we said in our
It's
review.
worse than Earth. Earth at least is just like we're just gonna make it cold or whatever. But the shit that humans do, and that.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like when we in the review we were talking about how the movie actively makes us root against ourselves.
Yes.
And I'm like watching this film going like, yeah, fuck these people. Humanity sucks. And I'm like, oh wait a minute,
We gotta go.
Oh shoot, that means me too. But I think it just did a really
gotcha.
fantastic job at like
Yeah.
being on the nose, but not in like not in a bad way.
Totally.
It was like on the nose of like, hey, by the way, we gotta figure out like what we're doing,
So, yeah.
what we're doing here.
Totally.
So that's my winner for best
All right.
evil force.
Yeah, my best evil force now, I want to qualify this because this is not the usual meaning of best, but in this case, best means most effective. So don't mistake this answer for an endorsement. But the best evil force of 2017 was racism.
No, yeah.
I mean, what was happening in Get Out was so, I can't even, when you think about, we're gonna be revisiting the Underworld franchise, starting with the first movie here pretty soon on this podcast, for the How Low Can We Go series, and I was reading about how there's like race elements in it, and the movie was pitched as Romeo and Juliet for vampires and werewolves. And the races can't mix and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And when you think about how horror movies have tangled with that topic, and then this movie comes out of nowhere, the difference between the handling is like the difference between watching me play basketball and like LeBron play basketball. I mean, just the hand. It's so much more sophisticated for obvious reasons and knowledgeable and whatever. But it it really shakes you when you leave to realize that was, I mean, to me, there's a vibe from that movie that just sits with you and unsettles you for days after you've watched it, right? And even like I think it is a great movie. I think it was a great remake and a great movie and really well done. But the day after I watched that, there's nothing stayed, right? Like I remember scenes and I remember whatever, but it's not like I could have gone to like Ringling Brothers the next day. It would have been fine. Like fucking clowns, whatever. It's not,
Yeah, you're fine.
Nothing stayed with you. Annabelle, same way. A lot of these great movies that came out didn't really stick, but Get Out it just follows you, and I think that's what great versus good horror does.
Easy. All right, so the last three.
Yes.
Last three. Failed memory test.
Failing the memory test.
These are the movies that we've watched in full and don't remember a goddamn thing from. I actually had Cult of Chucky on there.
Okay. But you remember the jump
scares. But I actually remember, like, and this is the stuff I wanted to give it props for, was like the set deck for it. I thought was really great.
Sure. This is the defense part.
Fiona Dorff was pretty good.
Okay.
I still think they mixed Brad Dourif's Chucky voice really weird. Like, it just felt weird.
Sure.
And some of the cinematography was pretty good.
Yes.
That's my defense of it. That's about all it gets. The failed the memory test is Netflix's horror comedy Little Evil.
Oh, okay.
Which I really like.
That's right. I asked you after you watched it. You were like, eh.
Yeah, I don't remember anything, and I love.
Because I haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
And I love Adam Scott, and I forget her. I always pronounce her name wrong. Angela or Eva or Lily something. Well, I can't remember. Anyway, she's the Wasp now.
Okay.
And I like both.
And we love Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Yeah, but I don't remember anything about that fucking movie. I was coming up my list, and I was like, what happens in that film? Like, I looked at it, and I was like, okay, I've seen this, but what fucking happened?
Sure.
And I don't remember any
That's interesting.
Like, it's a little bit's coming back to me now that I'm talking about it, but even then I'm still on empty.
See, this subject fascinates me. I could talk for a whole episode about this because it just is so interesting to me. Because when I went through the list of movies this year to find mine, even movies that I didn't like that much, like I was okay with Alien Covenant, but it's I don't think it's I mean, it should be like a 60% movie on Rotten Tomatoes, like 61%, right? So I don't know what it is, but that's where it should be. But the ending stands out to me like a storyboard in my head. I can see it's I don't know, it's even bad movies had like really sticky, memorable parts in them, right? Rings is totally forgettable, so that's part of whatever. But I got to give the gold medal for failing the memory test to A Cure for Wellness, because I don't remember anything that happened in that movie, and that movie was 12 hours long. Like, you had a lot of content. You had a lot of chances to give me something that I would really remember, and I don't remember fuck all anything that happened in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's a marathon, right? So there's something so... And that's really disappointing because I really like Gore Verbinski, obviously, because I like The Ring. But,
yeah.
I that kind of Euro atmosphere, whatever thing, I just felt like it was happening for no reason. That felt like the most bloated Twilight Zone episode I've ever watched. So, A Cure for Memory.
A Cure for...
is this
so
one.
Now,
Yes.
Let's flip the script and do pass the memory test.
With flying colors. Pick something good. All right, go ahead.
Pick something good. I'm gonna go with it's gonna be so generic. It's either It or Get Out.
Sure.
I think It, because I finished the audiobook before seing the film.
Oh yeah.
And then
That's
I went
personal
in.
to you. Yep.
Yeah. So then I went in there. There was just a lot of moments in that film that I really enjoyed that I'm excited to see again on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, totally.
They come out.
I mean, any of the big, successful movies, I think, pass the memory test. To make it more interesting, I want to pick something. You know that internet meme, like, once it's seen, it can't be unseen?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the memory test to Gerald's Game, because once you see the hand degloving escape from the handcuffs, you
Oh
can't
my God.
ever unsee it. and I wanted to pass out when it was happening, and just the lead up to it. And Carla did such a great job of knocking this role out of the park, and just watching her figure out what had to happen. Holy shit. I mean, the whole movie is memorable, but one of the reasons I wanted to give it like the special boost of our official reward and Buckeyes is because it's a quiet movie with not a lot happening in it, and those are usually the ones who fail the memory test. But this one managed to not, so I think that's a pretty special achievement. So
if I had to pick something else a little under the radar, nope, they're all big movies. Sorry.
That's all good.
All right. So now we wanted the last one.
Well, the last one, and then we'll just pick our best movie of the year, which I think we already know. But go ahead.
Best comeback.
Best comeback, yes.
And I mean,
I know what you're going to say.
To have a comeback, you have to fall pretty hard.
Yes, indeed.
And I think after The Visit and Split, I think M. Night. I don't want to say he's back because I think everyone's saying that.
Yes.
And like I know
But
we
he
all,
is.
but he is.
Yes.
He is. And if he keeps doing films that are in like the lower budget and then, producing the kind of films he's doing, I think he'll be back hopefully for another good stretch of some good horror films.
Well, you and I disagree on The Visit because I hate that fucking movie, but I recognize that it's well done, but Split is just great. It's exactly what, the kind of thing that only he can do that way.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing that's special about him is anyone can get the idea for Unbreakable, but it would never look the way he made it look, or flow the way he made it flow.
Yeah.
So, all right. My best comeback is the found footage via Creep 2. So I have given up on found footage like 5 different times.
Yeah, I think you and everyone else.
3 different years.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, there's nothing that this whole subgenre has to offer. They should just
They really wore that one out quick.
yeah, they should just throw it in a they should just premature bury it like lore would, and never to return. Well, everything returns in lore, so never mind. But this quiet little movie sneaks up, and Duplass pulls off this kind of really interesting thing, and again, the found footage is back. The last found footage movie I remember enjoying was Troll Hunter. I don't even know how long ago that is between, and this is the subgenre that I keep thinking is gone forever and just manages to be like, nope, look at me, I'm still over here.
I can still be, it's like seasoning.
Yeah, totally.
It's like truffle oil.
Totally.
Every now and then, every restaunt's putting truffle oil and everything, then it goes away, and then it goes back again.
Yeah, found footage is the truffle oil.
I like that.
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
All right.
Best film of the year.
Best horror film of 2016.
Mine, even though I picked it as most memorable, it's got to be Get Out.
No drama. I'm going to say Get Out too. So
it basically was just like, fuck you, here's what we have to say.
Yes.
And I fucking love that.
Yes. Well, and beyond that, there's the pleasant surprise of it coming relatively out of nowhere. Like
oh my God,
I heard nothing about it, and then all of a sudden I was hearing everything about it, but it was literally with a week to go or something like that. It just became.
And the fact that like
I don't know, it has been lingering around in rumors for a year now or whatever, but Get Out was just.
And it started the year off that way too.
Yes.
Which is great, and the fact that it was like Jordan Peele's like directorial debut.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't want to say flawless because like I'd have to watch it a few more times, but like
That's pretty close.
It's pretty fucking close. Like a flawless goddamn
And
movie.
I heard that he's open to a sequel to it, which would be interesting.
I would love that.
I'm picking it over it because of that fact. I think to be honest with you, I think it is pretty flawless in terms of what you can do in this era with a big budget. The fact that they went with no-name actors, the fact that they took the chances they took, I think that's great. But I'm always going to go for the original over the sequel or the remake if I have the option.
Yeah.
And that's so just
it's not like a negative thing. It's just like a
no, yeah, and I mean it's not like it. I mean, so it's not going to get a Buckeye, but it's going to get
no. It still is. It won some other awards.
$1.5 billion.
No,
so.
it won some other awards.
Oh, and some Buckeyes.
It still gets some Buckeyes. So there's still good.
So it's totally
I think Jordan Peele gets the most,
yeah, well, that's fine.
and M Night gets a handful. So.
Plot twist: we're not sending any M Night, but yeah, that's yeah.
No, he absolutely is. Don't you know damn well
Yes.
this year, because the coupons were not enticing.
Yes.
But now that they're treats, they're gonna be like, well, fuck, we better
Yes.
hurry.
But here's the thing: the clincher to me about why
The butt clincher.
why Get Out is so special is when you look at a truly bad movie like Bye Bye Man or Rings.
Mm-hmm.
If you did a forensic, like if you had it on a table like autopsy, and you took it apart and you tried to figure out what is this missing, it's missing what Get Out has more than what any other. It's missing more of what's in Get Out than it's missing what's in it, because it still has some shaky CGI. It still has some subpar jump scares. It still has some questionable, like the flow, the editing is a little bit weird or whatever, but. Get Out has ferocity and determination and the desire to shake things up and to be entertaining at the same time. And all of those things, if you could just inject them back into the body that's on the table, you could make anything a much better movie by giving them those elements. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And it's just the mirror image of mediocrity. So...
I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm glad it's now an official annual thing.
Yes.
We made it to the second year
Yes.
for the Halloweekly Horror Awards.
Totally.
For all the winners, private message to the Facebook page. I'm dead serious about this. People will probably think we're fucking around. I am so goddamn serious. If you won,
I can't wait till next year's annual
I don't
episode
care.
where
I don't care if you were like a production assistant. Let us know. You get yourself a Buckeye. Who
Yeah,
cares?
that's fine.
There we go.
Nick's ready to bake.
Yeah, exactly. 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 And
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed not just the year of horror, but the year of our podcast. We're closing in on another. What is this?
This was the first full
Well,
year.
we're at 100,000 downloads now, so we're pretty
Which
excited.
is fucking dope.
Yeah, which is
It's 100,000 people that listen to this.
We appreciate all the support. No, it's just one person who downloaded 100,000.
Yeah, thank you. It's a night.
It's a plot twist again. But we appreciate all the support, and we're really excited to see what 2018 brings.
Me too. And if you want more horror in the meantime, head on over to our Patreon page where we have Last Fan Standing going.
Yes.
Lots of deaths will occur there, and it'll be a great way to roll in the new year for hopefully what is a lot of good horror films.
Yes. So if you like interactive horror games, we invite you into this one. It's Patreon, www.patreon.com/Halloweekly.
Easy. Check it out, and until next time, stay scary and watch a bunch of horror movies. Bye.